Hello and welcome to this course in using PRINCE2 with Agile as a delivery point. As I said, using PRINCE2 and Agile ways of working. What we're going to talk about here is taking the current PRINCE2 methodology based on the 2009 handbook and looking at how now we can incorporate particular Agile practices and ways of working into a PRINCE2 environment. Now, that could be happening already from your point of view. We're just going to look at a bit more detail about some of the particular Agile practices and explain what they are and how you might incorporate them. It's more about what you could use at the moment, the how we'll come to a little later. Remember, this is a course for PRINCE2 practitioners, so you need to have passed that level already and understand how to apply the PRINCE2 methodology. It's also worth noting that the PRINCE2 methodology itself has not changed in this environment. What we're now saying is looking at different ways of managing the product delivery, which is really where the activity from an Agile perspective comes in. And to help us with that, we'll look at some of the differences in Agile as opposed to things like Scrums and Kanbans and different ways of looking at delivering from an Agile perspective, and what Agile actually means in different ways, and how some of those elements can be incorporated into a PRINCE2 environment. I think the other thing to note is that with PRINCE2, as with another methodology, Agile Project Management by DSTM, that these two methods provide governance. They provide governance to deliver the products from a project perspective. And this is because we're looking at giving positive beneficial change and how we handle that. In most cases, when we're just handling product delivery, we're delivering a set of requirements that may be going to projects, but not necessarily a single project. And in some respects, we'll look at how that works from a point of view also where Agile can work in a business as usual or operations environment and where the differences are. So that's the key here, to understand that Prince does not change at all. It's how it now incorporates a different way of working from a point of view of evolving a solution, for example. This is part of the point, evolving the solution. So what are the objectives within the course? Understand the concepts and different ways of common Agile ways of working, as we just mentioned. Being able to apply and value the areas, evaluate what areas of my project actually need to incorporate an Agile approach. And this is an area that I think that causes a lot of problems, understanding what the project needs from a point of approach, not fixing the project to the approaches we have in place. It's taking the current approaches, techniques and toolkits and applying it to the project. And this is one of the key areas of tailoring anyway, one of the key areas of tailoring, which is mentioned here. Being able to apply the tailoring, the principles, themes, and the general management products and how they will work within a particular Agile style environment. What areas we can fix or flex with respect to the 6 areas of projects that we have where there's a degree of variability. You know, the usual ones like time and cost, how do we lock those in? Quality, risk, benefits. These are the 6 areas that we have to think about, and the scope obviously being the final one. Now the scope I left out until the last because this has a different understanding in an Agile perspective. And that's when we start looking at things like prioritization, in case you haven't heard of it. Right. And then understand how to work this all together. And of course, ultimately, part of this course is to get you prepared to be able to sit the exam, which we have. But first, let's look at the manual, how